So here's the deal. So this has been a fairly quiet week, and
Yes.
we didn't have a whole lot of news. We've covered the only show that's going on, so we're going to keep this
Given our
fairly
dumb
short.
banter.
We're going to keep this fairly short this week, and we will get to your questions too, Dunstan. In fact, let's go ahead and do that before we get into the history section here.
To it.
And he asks for the Kobe show. What's your expectation level right now? This show has 5 title matches, a special singles match. I am excited about this show. I'm looking forward to it. I think Great O'Khan has done a lot of work to help promote it. The title match. I think the global title match will probably be one for Finlay to win, of course, but there are other matches on this card. I mean, Doki and Kanemaru should be pretty good. I do expect we're going to find out who new member of TMDK is. I think we might see some other little surprises in there. They need to set up King of Pro Wrestling effectively. There are other things going on. So I am excited about this show. My expectation level is it'll probably be pretty good. I don't know if the matches they have on it will lead to great wrestling. I don't know if we're going to see a whole bunch of 6-star matches in here, so to speak, but I think it'll be an interesting night of storytelling, and I do think some of the matches that are there are going to be really good. Doki and Kanemaru are going to be really good in there. I think those two work well together.
I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10. There are 5, maybe 6 shows of very real consequence to me going in before Wrestle Kingdom, and I'll tell you what they are. It is in Kobe. Then we will have the King of Pro Wrestling. Then we'll have Royal Quest. Then we will have, I think, Power Struggle in the beginning of November. Then we're going to have, or not Power Struggle, the match in Lowell, Massachusetts, the show in Lowell, Massachusetts. Then we're going to have Historic X over, and then we're going to have the World Tag League Finals. Those 6 shows are going to be the linchpin of Wrestle Kingdom. And the angles around Wrestle Kingdom are going to be coming from these shows. Whether it's matches, angles, video packages, surprise people making an appearance, whatnot. These are the big ones. And these are the ones that are going to have the conversations from the websites and the aggregators about this person made something known here. And I think we're going to get stuff like that. And yeah, a 7 out of 10 feels about right, because you're really going to start feeling whether you're going to be feeling Wrestle Kingdom,
It's the 19th right now. It's only 107 days until Wrestle Kingdom, according to Google. So, and by the time the 29th comes around, that's 10 days. So by the time Destruction of Kobe, under 100 days till Wrestle Kingdom, we got 100. Time to start building the card.
I think 7 out of 10 is a completely fair number. I think that's good.
And really, there's 2 shows because there's nothing for Dynasty yet. Nothing for Wrestle Dynasty yet, so we're going to see some.
Maybe MJF and Zack Sabre Jr. I'm putting that one out there now.
You feeling good about that one?
I feel like after I saw All Out and MJF pulling a Clarky cat in his match with Daniel Garcia, that if they're not telling you that he's going to be coming after Zack Sabre Jr. at some point, he's coming after Zack Sabre Jr. It's a great match to do at Wrestle Dynasty.
The other thing that Dunstan mentioned here, he said, do you think instead of a never 6-man gauntlet or rumble, we can get a 6-man tag title match on the main card of the Dome? It's not like the company can't book the titles, right? They did it before. I wouldn't mind seeing the never open weight 6-man titles get a little bit more respect than just being thrown into a rumble or not being defended at all. I like that. I would like to see it get a little bit more respect. And I know that the Chaos team, when it was Ishii and Goto and all that was a strong run for those titles. They've gone through some iterations where they bounced around a little too much. I think having them on Tanahashi, Bolton, and Yano has given them a little bit of meaning. I don't know if that's going to happen because I think Evil and Tanahashi will be mixed up in some kind of way going into Kingdom there, and the Good versus Evil struggle, but more than seeing them in a gauntlet match, I would like to see a little respect put on those titles and give them a spot. It won't be high on the card, but you could do something interesting with those belts at Kingdom and not just have them be an afterthought.
Were they on the card for the 2-night shows that they did a couple of years ago? Because they haven't been on the card the last couple of years.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I would like to see it. I would like to see it because I think those titles can be interesting.
I feel like they are props to greater stories when it comes to Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. And I don't love that because I think of all the promotions New Japan has the most opportunity to run with 6-man titles. I don't think AEW does a very good job with it, and WWE doesn't seem interested. So I'm really okay with New Japan really cornering the market on being dominant on that.
And he also asks here, with Oiwa's excursion over, what route would you go for? A, Oiwa returns after the Wrestle Kingdom 19 main event, challenging the winner at the Tokyo Dome. Or B, he comes back in a multi-man tag.
Wow.
Bit of a loaded question there.
Could you tell which side you're leaning towards?
Yeah, and I understand what you mean. It can be a little deflating to think that, oh, he's just going to be a guy in TMDK. Maybe he's not, though. We don't know who X is. If he does come back there, I mean, he will be in a pretty good position, being the Shingo to if Shingo is that to Naito, he could be the Shingo to Zack Saber's Naito, so to speak. But the coming back and remember, they've only done that where somebody comes back from excursion and challenges the champion once, and it was Okada. But I mean, you could, and Oiwa had a hell of a run in Noah to the point that a lot of people in Noah wish he would stay. I feel like if he isn't X, it'll be somewhere in the middle there. I don't expect him to just walk in and challenge. But you know what, Jeremy? They could book him on Wrestle Kingdom. If he wins a match early in Wrestle Kingdom, then the pattern is that you win a special singles match early in the card. You come out and challenge the champion. Bottom line is, we don't know how much stock the company has put in Oiwa. We're excited about him, and he looked good in Noah, and we're anxious to see him back. But we don't know what people like Geto and Tanahashi think his potential is. Do they feel like he needs to come back, establish a character, and then be built? Or do you think he's ready to go right in the main event? Fact is, we don't know how they're feeling about him and how enthusiastic they are about him. So until we know that, it's really hard to tell what they're going to do with him. But very few guys have come right into the main event. Tsuji did. So they felt good enough about him. They certainly brought Okada and threw him back into the main event mix, so it's not out of the question. But I would lean more toward making him special than making him just a guy, because I think his performances in Noah indicated he could be one of those guys that becomes a star and sells tickets.
I think it's going to take some time to get Oiwa to the point that everyone wants him to be at. There's a lot of mouths to feed, especially of the young guys. Yeah. There's 4 or 5 guys right now that have putting in the work that are ahead of him in terms of so many things. I think Oiwa has all the tools and could be a top guy, if not the top guy, in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm not ruling it out. But I think the idea that, given Yuya Uemura coming back last year and basically putting the brakes on any type of progression until you got to the G1. Yota Tsuji came out hot but failed, and then it took the New Japan Cup and the premier, the G1, going to the finals to really put him with. It's not how New Japan does things. If Oiwa comes out now and he's a house of fire, who's watching? Who's paying attention? What are they doing right now to ensure that when you're watching this, you're already locked in and seeing Oiwa rise? You need something else going on because people aren't going to be tuning in for Oiwa. He's what you tune in for after you've been hooked. You know what I mean? There's a growth to this.
And Dunson says, last question for today, and then we'll get into some Tanahashi history here. Do you think Shota Umino could benefit from turning heel? Yeah, something we've kind of discussed on the show a little bit, that he might, that might be good for him. I don't know if it's in the plans for them. They seem intent on still making him a hero for now, but I think maybe showing a little bit of edge, dark side might be helpful.
Shout out to BJ Bethel. We were having a conversation about New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he was asking about Shota Umino. And it was like, Shota Umino should do the Legend Killer Randy Orton gimmick, but in New Japan, where he tried to learn from all of these guys and he failed. And so, he's going to do it his own way and take them all out and become that kind of guy. And that was the brainstorming thing that we were talking about. That's why I laughed when he was asking about Shota Umino turning heel, because this was literally a conversation I had with somebody about this stuff.